Welcome back to part 2 of our data dive series, where we're going to be taking all of the data that we learned from our market analysis and understanding our competitors and really just breaking this down into our product scorecard. So without further ado, let's dive in.
Let's take a look at the scorecard. I know we're running out of time. Really quickly, as an overview of the scorecard, what we look at are these four categories: traffic distribution, profitability, the potential of the product, and the competitiveness. And the way it works is that as you answer a question, you will either get a positive score or a negative score. And so the more questions you answer, you'll end up with an aggregate score. You should try to complete the scorecard, and you'll end up with that score. Now, that's not a score where every product that you do, every scorecard you do above a certain number, you should definitely do the product. More so, it's like just an evaluation of the risk of doing the product. So it's up to you with your risk profile, what you're willing to invest in a product based on the risk score. But the most important thing that I want, sellers to really think about is, do I have a clear path to execute this product with keywords that I can compete against competitors that I can compete with? And if I really understand my design is going to be better, my images are going to be better, I'm going to have, hopefully higher click-through rate and conversion rates, which lead to better keyword rankings, then and I've got the keywords, I'll do that product with a lower score, because some of the things that might lead to a lower score are just not, you'll see in here, might be the margins a little tight. But I'm okay taking a tighter margin if I've got a clear path to a fast-moving product, right? Yep. Something more aggressive, something more competitive, but I have clear advantage. So number of routes was pretty extensive. We've already talked about camping, and we've already talked about the closet and the travel and potentially the cubes and all that. So I'd say there's 4 or more, routes that are pretty good. And then the distribution of the search volume on the routes, I'm not so sure. I think that for the top 2 routes, it's going to be more than 75%, probably maybe even 90%. But I think that this is still okay. It's not going to hurt you too much. And what we're looking for is to say that if most of the search volume is with one route, it doesn't matter if you have 7 routes, right? The other 6 routes are, as an aggregate, are going to be a very small percentage, and they're a nice little win. But you really want something with a wide distribution of traffic among those routes, because you're going to try to take advantage of all of them, whereas your competitors aren't. Mm-hmm. So we're looking at number of relevant keywords. We had more than 31 on the master keyword list. Now we have a lot more than that if you take into consideration some of those lower search volume, but this is more than 450 search volume. So we're very specific here. And on the main master keyword list, we had over 40 keywords. So that's a positive. If it's less than 30, that's a warning sign to me that I don't have an advantage anymore, because anyone can kind of guess those keywords, right? I'm competing with a bunch of people that are less sophisticated, but it doesn't matter. My level of sophistication and how advanced of a data analyst, like a data analyst I am, doesn't matter in this product. So I'm losing an advantage. And if I'm losing an advantage, I'm going to subtract points. So that's that's the logic here. Now, you guys have done the product profitability. The product lifecycle here, I think, is pretty disruptive. And we had a previous call talking about potentially getting a patent, right? Yep. And that's going to be on the potential side. But if you do protect your product, your design in any way, and this is a type of product that looks like it's going to have some live for a while, I think that this is more than 24 months. I'm not sure it's more than 5 years. That's just my guess on this. More than 5 years, I would leave for products that are more like a garlic press. Really, they're not really disruptable. They're going to be around for a long time. Most of the designs are pretty similar, right? It's a pretty evergreen, forever type of product, like a notepad, a calendar, or something like that, right? ROI, you guys, where are you at here?
We're at just over 100% right now.
Okay. Yeah, and it might end up falling below this, which would lose points. But since you're starting at over 100, what is your assumed tacos? Like, what is the percentage of ads you're assuming to get over 100%?
Normally we have that at 15%, but I'd imagine it's probably a little bit higher for this specific product.
Yeah, it's so we can go look at the cost per click. We provide that on the master keyword list and on the keyword, those different keyword lists we provide, and that'll give you an idea if I'm at a 20% conversion rate, because this is design oriented. If I'm at a 20%, conversion rate and I'm paying these types of cost per clicks at launch, especially, and as I come down into the lower search volume, the bids do come down a little bit, but at launch especially, you'll probably be 40%. And the goal would be, like, when I ask that question in the keyword list, I'm asking you, once you've established yourself and just to maintain your keyword ranks, what is your desired tacos? Under 20% is fine. I think 15, it used to be you wanted to be below 10%, but the reality is, with so many people entering a market, with you having to be defensive with ads, with cost per click going up significantly over the last 2 years, the reality is you're not going to be under 10% for most products anymore.
Yep.
So 15% is probably okay. So you're assuming 15%. That still leaves you over 100. I think that's fine, and so that's going to be a positive on the profitability. So let's look at the potential. So the potential is going to be, can you save any costs on new packaging versus your competition? And we have a whole profits tool to really figure out, like, what is your packaging dimensions, are you vacuum sealing, are you squeezing it and taping it and making sure there's no hanging edges to really try to save an extra inch or half an inch versus the competitors? Have you ordered any of their products? This is the type of research that you would need to do eventually. But in the meantime, you can kind of just go look at our deep dive here and really understand, like, what are the weight and dimensions of these competitors versus what I'm thinking about selling. And you'll see that these guys have optimized to be under a pound, which is incredible, right? Which is why they can sell it for $10. And I bet that the rest of these guys are over a pound. Another one that did a great job of optimizing are these third best sellers. And you'll see that makes a big difference. Once you get into the dimensional weight of over a pound, it jumps up from, maybe 3 and change to 5 and change, right? Like, it's an extra couple dollars that you have to give Amazon in some cases just by going up by a quarter inch on one side of your packaging. What is your dimensional weight versus your competitors?
We don't necessarily have the exact numbers. We probably assume we have dimensions of the exact product and how it's going to be packaged. We have our competitors. Like, ours is going to be just under large standard size at 17 inches long, 13 inches wide, and 3 inches tall.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say is, because we're including the rod at the bottom, it is made of a metal. So I imagine it's going to be between that 1 to 2 pound weight at the bare minimum, if not more than that.
Yeah,
that's definitely something to consider. Maybe we shrink the product a bit and see if we can do that. Definitely a vacuum seal would be good to reduce any kind of unknown size.
Right. And what you can consider doing on your bar, which is really important, I do this a lot with my products, is that you should get it cut in half and just make it so that it screws together, right? That's gonna make it by half. Like, and it might not matter if you're still fitting it inside the packaging properly, but if your product needs to go end to end, that's going to be the minimum dimensions, and you can't fold your bag in half anymore. It could make a big difference if you take that bar and you find a way to break it in half to ship it, and then have them screw it together for assembly.
I like that idea. We could definitely make that happen as well.
Yeah, and the exploration there is, will it save us, right? And this is what we're trying to get with and understand on the master keyword list or the scorecard is really explore, are we able to save money versus the competition. It doesn't seem like you're going to. A lot of these Several are under a pound. Most are under 2 pounds. So you need to be competitive, even though you have that extra functionality. I'd be pushing really hard to try to figure out how to make sure I'm not more than 2 pounds.
Perfect.
Now this guy is really having a kick in the nuts, and this is poor planning, right? Anytime you're within like 0.1 of a dimensional weight, unless it's absolutely unavoidable, you should have been able to plan this better. So you need to be thinking about these things in advance while you're developing your product. This guy, there's no reason that he's at 0.8 with the same product that someone above is selling at 0.97. So this guy is just giving Amazon, for every single unit he sells, he's just giving Amazon a significant amount of revenue that he didn't, that in profit that he could have kept. This is by far the smallest one. So when I start to see these things as well, and they're disrupting the market, this is a newer listing. Look at this, right? So this guy's coming into the market. It looks like he's just got a much smaller size than the competitors, but he's still making it look pretty good. It fits in the luggage pretty well. And so the ratings are terrible because it probably is so small and cheap, though, right? So you don't necessarily want to copy that. But this looks like pretty poor quality. It doesn't look like it stays together well, you know, when it's hanging. You want something where the stitching is stronger. It takes a nice shape. It doesn't stay out of shape. It looks good while it's hanging. I think that those are things to keep in mind. And you could tell by the image that it's going in here that it's pretty small.
Yeah, it is significantly smaller.
Yeah. But, you know, they're new to the market. They're making some sales. They're not really crushing it. It's not too bad. A lot of these guys just aren't really doing too great. But this was a big product launch that happened like 6 months ago, 5 months ago. And they're selling for $32, and their rank has been consistently, under 100,000. Not great, but doing something. Again, 0.15 more than it should be. They could sell it at $29.99 and make the same money if they just got this down, right? So yeah, most people are there. So for the product scorecard, we were kind of looking at that. When you look at the product scorecard and you look at potential, we can't really save versus the competitors, right? You can't really save on fulfillment fees. Can you realistically get a utility patent? Utility is possible, right? Like we were discussing it.
Yep.
Did you do any more exploration there?
We had engaged Rich. We're waiting on a response from him, but we were gonna explore with Rich to see what his thoughts are, and see.
The prices I've paid in the past have been around $500-$600 for someone good to do a true patent search, to come back and give, the results of what they find based on what you're looking for, because a lot of times the functionality isn't that easily searchable. It takes a certain type of database and a real skill set to go search. And so you need someone that's going to spend a good amount of time on it. Usually it's a junior with law background that, is charging you $100, $150 an hour. And so if that $600 is 4, 5, 6 hours of their time to really, really search deep and come up with an opinion on that, the lawyer that you use to file it was going to use that opinion and that evidence and what they found to tell you, yes, we can move forward, let's file it, or no, it looks like it's not going to get granted because of ABC.
Absolutely.
We're going to put yes for now, but we know that this score is going to be plus or minus, maybe minus 200. Can you realistically get one or more design patents? I don't think I don't know. I don't think your product is that original in any way, but also I think that a design patent for a product like this is probably futile unless you use the strategy we just talked about with Rich, which would be you file like 10 of them. Because what happens is if someone just moves a simple zipper from one side to the middle or one side to the other side, it gets around your design patent. Yep. It's that easy to get around it. So you've really got to find an element that's unique to yours, and then maybe 3 or 4 or 5 other unique elements that kind of build the product and make it unique, that if you create multiple design patents, it makes it too hard for someone to come into the market. You can just start taking down people for that reason or this reason or that reason, right? Can you redesign the product and add desired features? You're doing that, right? You're adding that bar. You found some unique things, right?
Yep.
And as a matter of fact, this is less points. Design patents are easy to get around, so I'm just going to put yes here, no here, so that we get more of a true score here.
Yep.
And you are adding desired features. So there are at least X sellers selling the same design I plan on selling. Now, not same design, but it looks similar, right? You have that bottom storage, you have the other things, but you're adding the bar.
Yeah. We also added a jewelry and cosmetics organizer that zips off of the side, right off the side.
I love that too. So I'm gonna say your design is original, which is great.
Yeah.
These are really, really big deal breakers. If you've got more than 4 people selling the same exact design, even 2 or 3 is tough, because by the time yours lands, there might be 2 or 3 more, right? So you want to always try to make an original design. And now with AI and the ability to do some really neat things in AI, you should be able to create something new, original, and better. Here. I have tested my product design against the top 3 sellers. Now, have you guys used IntelliV or PickFu or a service to test audiences?
Yep. We did the whole shebang. We have Ritz as another partner of ours, and they did that with all our product designs, and against pretty much every variation online current state. We even tested color. We tested specific features. We did a whole case study on that specifically. So
that's amazing. So let me ask you then, what is the right answer here based on the votes? So you tested you versus the top 3 sellers, maybe in one vote or one specific poll. Did you have 25% of the votes of those 4? So kind of like even split, or did you have more than 40%? Were you,
yeah.
Because these are negative.
We had more than 40%.
More than 40. Yeah.
That's awesome. So people saw yours, they wanted it more. Now, if all things are equal as far as price point, that's what matters too. So that's where, like, you really want to make sure that people answering the question just don't see yours with all these additional features versus that $10 one. They're going to choose yours every time, right? Exactly. But the real seller or the real buyer is going to be cost conscious. Sometimes they want the cheaper option, even if it has less features. So you got to be careful the way you set these polls up, because sometimes you can set yourself up for failure if you look at the wrong data.
Absolutely.
Last one is competitiveness, and competitiveness is going to be around the SEO, right? The reviews, how good your competitors are at Amazon. So from a reviews perspective, how many had more than 1,000 reviews? And so we just come back over here, and we got 18,000, right? This guy's been around for a long time. And then 1,000. So 2, a couple new sellers. So 3, bunch of new sellers. 4. So 4 guys in the top 15 or so. And the rest of these guys aren't very good at Amazon. More than, let's see, 4 or more of the top 10 have more than 1,000. Yeah, that's about right. So that's a negative, right? Like, I'm not too worried about reviews a lot of times if I'm significantly better at keywords, which is why this is still only -50, right? So Amazon SEO, more than 10 competitors are on the first page of at least 60% of the relevant search volume. Now, we looked at this main page. We did add these outliers over, and we did add the outliers, which is going to change our number a little bit. We had to go to the overview. And so now we only have 1, but before I think we had a few others, right?
Yeah.
So I think the outlier is being moved over, and us removing some keywords that weren't relevant are what we call a cleaned up master keyword list. And to move them over for this evaluation, I want to be very confident I can execute on it. So I would want that keyword list to be basically the keyword list I'm going to target. Only keywords I'm going to target in it, and then reevaluate the strength of my competitors on that keyword list. And I'm only seeing 1 at strong, and it's asking how many are very strong. Now, let's be realistic. We do have 1 that's very strong. and probably another that's very strong. So I'm going to say 2, even though the keywords aren't showing it right there the way it is. So I'm just going to say we have 2 strong competitors. I'm going to use my judgment there, but it's still 3 or less. And that's still the maximum number of points, which is awesome, right? A lot of times you don't enter a niche where you only have 1 or 2 strong competitors. Most of the time you're entering into a product niche and you've got 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 10 really, really good competitors. And you're going to be fighting for every keyword, every ad click, every sale. Here it seems like a lot of these guys are just okay with, 2 sales a day, a sale a day, right? They're just they're not doing much at all. So our selling price, where are we selling it?
Between 16 and 49.
Yeah, and that's a neutral price point for me because I like to be in that range. Anything below $15 or $10, I think, is a negative, just because your profit dollars can disappear very quickly if you have any type of disruption in your supply chain, right?
Yeah,
you can add $2 to this product cost very quickly just from a shipping, logistics, storage standpoint if things don't go smoothly. And then if you're relying on a $10 product making $2.50 every time it sells, that can go from making you $2.50 to breaking even or losing money. So to me, that's a risk. I don't do those products. You got to be careful. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do them. It just says they're higher risk, right? And remember, this is a risk score more than anything. So 1P, we've got at least 5 of the top 10 competitors are bought and sold by Amazon. I don't know how many of them are 1P. So if we go back over to the master keyword list, we look at who the sellers are. Here's sellers country. Fulfillment here, FBA, they're all FBA, right? No, they would say Amazon if it was 3P. So there's 0, 1P sellers, which means they're wholesaling to Amazon, and Amazon is selling it. So less than 3, 50 points. So visual content, how many of them had great images and A+? I'd say 5 or less. I didn't think the images were good. I think you have an advantage on the content side. I think that's great. Now, this isn't more points or more valuable because I think that market can shift very quickly and become more sophisticated very quickly. It's a short-term advantage versus a long-term advantage. I think most of the time, most of the markets, most of the niches are going to get better at content over time. And that speed of adoption and optimization is speeding up, right? So it's not a lot of points, but it's something. Now, we saw that Google Trends in the very short term are down, but overall they're up. And I think that's very interesting. Seasonality, product is specific to a non-Q4 holiday. So that would be like a Valentine's Day gift, 4th of July. That's negative a lot of points because you got a week to sell that product, 3 weeks to sell that product max, right? Product is specific to a major Q4 holiday. We call Halloween major because you get 5 or 6 weeks of sales. Christmas, again, same thing, 5 or 6 weeks of sales, but so it's a little bit of a negative. Product for an entire season, winter, summer. It's only winter, only summer, or year round. I think this is more of a year round product. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think by the looks of the trend, it drops a little in Q4. People's intent to travel may not be as high, but as soon as Q1 comes back up, it goes. But in my opinion, it still does sell in Q4.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. And you do have certain seasons that people travel more often, but year round people are traveling. And maybe this should be positive. We could talk about that. So variations, at least 6 of the top competitors have 4 or more variations. We saw that to be true, right?
Yep. Yeah, we did.
And that's a negative, right? Because that means we need to launch with variations. That means we can't launch this product with one color and one size. If we do that, again, we're setting ourselves up for failure because we're going to have a lower conversion rate. So just front of mind for you guys is that when you're placing this order, you got to add 3, 4 colors, maybe a couple, maybe 2 packs with 2 colors or 3 colors and launch with those, right? And then you'll figure out which routes and keywords do better for which colors and styles and variation types. and then you'll put those in the title and target those specifically. You'll run the PPC targeting that one as the hero. Which variation can be the hero for which route is a very important mindset to get into. So major brands. We've got at least 5 of the top competitors are sold in retail. I don't think so. I'd say it's less than 3, right?
Yeah.
Developed niche, at least 5 of the top competitors have bundles or multi-packs. They have at least 3 of them have bundles or multi-packs. I'd say none, like almost none. Like I did see 2-packs and like more variations, but that's answered above. The thing that I would say here is that what you're looking for are going to be products where people add something for free. They're like, hey, get this hanging toiletry bag, right, that you're selling, or hanging organizer, and we're gonna throw in this neck pillow, right?
Yeah.
That would be a bundle that people are adding value with a $2 pillow, but charging $24.99 still, and now people are happy about that. That's how you disrupt yourself, and that's how a competitor is going to think to disrupt you later. And so what ends up happening is the more of these bundles and different things you see on a search result, the more advanced this niche is, and the more likely someone's just going to come in and outdo you with value. So the lifelong or the life value of this product is shorter if it's already taken several leaps in that direction. All right.
One thing that we are planning to do is we are going to include a couple of the same material, essentially bags for your shoes. So not only is it going to be for your clothing,
shoe bags are great. Yeah.
And they're low cost. They're like 10 cents. And it also taps into, a full closet, including shoes, and it gives you the space to do that inside a carry-on as well.
Right. Now, what might end up happening is, and what you might consider doing, is that for the first order, you don't launch the shoes if you think you can win with the first order, because that's an ace in your pocket to disrupt yourself as people start to copy you or try to copy you.
Yeah.
Now, Rich might come back and say that the zipper, you zipping and attaching the organizer on the side, is patentable. He might come back and say that the bar is patentable, right? And then these are ways that you protect. People are going to try to find ways otherwise to come in and sell something very similar at a lower price, or even try to one-up you. That's when you would add the shoe bags. You would say, okay, that's fine. We're going to add 2 shoe bags for every set, and you make your new main image. Said, you got the bags there with the shoes in them next to your product, and you're saying, it shows it includes it, and then that's going to increase again conversion rate and click-through rate. So, and then what you do is you actually just take over that same image, that same listing, by switching over your content and making sure that other inventory is sold out before you do it. So you can add a new offer. And so you disrupt yourself, update your own listing, keep all your keywords, keep all your reviews, but just continue to stay a step ahead of the competition. So sometimes it's not worth disrupting too much at the beginning if what you're going to do is already going to win.
Yeah, that's some really great perspective. I think, we'll definitely do that as well.
So written content, more than 5 of the top 10 competitors have exact form title. I don't think very many of them do. I'm going to say less. So what I'm seeing here is a 1050 score. I think anything above 600, 500, 600 is great. You're absolutely got a winning product in my mind, for all the reasons that we talked about. And if we look at, where you're making it, these are the 2 hardest to really win on. And we see you winning there. As far as products go, this one seems like something you've put a lot of time into, and it looks like a winning product, a smash product to me. As long as you execute now, your honeymoon, your launch, your colors, your styles, you're coming in, and you've got that similar price point in that $20 range, $25 range. You can control the packaging, the shipping, like the fulfillment fees, and you get that supply chain leaned out. I think you got a winning product.
Amazing. Those small tidbits of advice, one with the variations and targeting multiple keywords with those variations, and also the ace in your pocket with the shoe bags, just forward thinking. those are invaluable pieces of advice that we'll definitely implement into the product. So super grateful that you were able to share, one, just validation with the software that everything looks good to go, and then two, invaluable pieces of information that's just going to take it to the whole next level.
Yeah.
Can't wait to buy one myself, guys. I travel a lot, as you know, so
you'll get one for free.
Yeah, I know. I think we use Data Dive to do like market research and look at the market as a whole. But we are also very emotionally attached to this because, you know, we saw so much use in this product and we're so bullish on the idea. But doing this scorecard and running through with someone like yourself, Brandon, it was definitely an eye opener and also gave us a lot of strategies that we can utilize in moving forward. Transparently, we weren't thinking about launching with variations, but now that we see your perspective on that, that's definitely something that we are going to have to do, which is huge. So very valuable insights. Data Dive is just honestly a next level tool, which is super. It's honestly the things that you guys are doing. It's amazing.
I appreciate it, guys. And, you know, we've got our dashboard, our keyword tracker, we've got PPC tools coming out all in the next, you know, few months. So we're investing a lot of dollars. We have a lot of programmers on our team, over 20, and we're building fast and just want to continue to improve it to give sellers the best tool out there. So I appreciate you letting me run through your product. It looks like you guys are gonna be successful, whatever. You're all great sellers anyway. But hopefully these little bit of things, it's the incremental improvements or little things will make a difference. And I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for your time today. I think just seeing that whole process broken out for anybody watching is extremely valuable. How you actually validate a product, how you take a look at your market, so many good things for product research that are going to then carry over to when you actually go creating your listing and looking to rank on those keywords and choosing your PPC keywords and all of these things. That's one thing I love about Data Dive is a holistic approach. You don't have to use 6 different softwares to achieve all these different results. So that's incredible. We'll absolutely do another video as we continue to progress throughout this with more information on how we're going to continue to use Data Dive to really make this product successful. But Brandon, thanks so much for your time today. I appreciate all of it. Appreciate all the insights. We're going to have an absolutely killer product and we'll see you on the next video.
Sounds good, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Mike.